Welcome back, my followers. I'm your host, Ricky Knoles, and this is an episode of Knoles Cool Stuff. Now, recently, Oppo has released the Oppo Find X3 Pro and a series of other phones under the name the Find X3 Neo and the Find X3 Lite. But did you know there's a fourth Find X3? That's correct. And it's the forgotten one. It is and it's not the Pro, the Oppo Find X3, the non-Pro version. And in my opinion, I think this is the best buy. It's just as good as the Pro with only a few minor differences. So let's first get into this thing and do the unboxing. Let's go. Alright, so there you have it. The unboxing for the Find X3, exactly the same as the Pro. Now, as you can tell from the back, it looks exactly like the Pro. From the front, exactly like the Pro. Now, you might be asking yourself, what is the difference between the Find X3 Pro and the Find X3? From what I can tell, there are only 5 major differences. Alright, so let's get into the differences right now. Alright, so number 1 is the chipset. In the Find X3 Pro, you are using the Snapdragon 888. In the Find X3, you are using the Snapdragon 870. So, your question is, they're both capable of 5G. So the question is, does it really matter if you have the 888 or the 870? That's difference number 1. Difference number 2 is the CPU. Alright, I'm going to just toss up a graph because I'm not reading all those numbers. And that is the difference. So, look at the graph and let me know. Will it really make that big of a difference to you? Alright, so difference number 3 is the GPU. The Pro is using Adreno 660 while the Find X3 is using Adreno 650. Minor difference? In performance maybe? Who knows? We got to test those out. So, but is that a deal breaker for you? Difference number 4, the internals. With the Find X3 Pro, you only have one variant, the 12 gigabytes of RAM with 256 gigabytes of storage. While the Find X3 has 2 variants. You can either get the 8 gigabytes of RAM with 128 gigabytes of storage, or the 8 gigabytes of RAM with 256 gigabytes of storage. So, a little bit more options on the Find X3. Alright, and difference number 5, which I think is the most important one. With the lowest variant of the Find X3, it will cost you, in China at least, 4,500 RMB. While the Find X3 Pro will cost you 6,000 RMB. Alright, so if you convert that into dollars, that is a difference of $231. So, is it better to get the Find X3, which basically has everything the same except for those 5 differences, but you save $230, $31. So, what would you rather have? $200 extra so you can buy some new earbuds, or spend the extra $200 just for those basically 4 differences? Really look at it, because 5 is the price. So let's take a look what is exactly the same on the Find X3 and the Find X3 Pro. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 1 All right, so there's all the specs that are exactly the same between the Find X3 and the Find X3 Pro. You get the same display, you get that 10-bit display, you get the same camera, you get the 120 hertz refresh rate, you get the same battery, you get the same charging speed, wireless charging speed, reverse wireless charging speed. You get everything the same. All right, you get exactly the same except for those first 4 things. So the question to you is, which one do you think is the better deal? The forgotten Find X3 or the Find X3 Pro? Now, I have to admit, the Find X3 may not be available in your area. They might just be giving you the Pro only. Say, hey, we want to charge extra. We want to charge that extra $1,000 for you. All right, but if you're able to get your hand on the Oppo Find X3, I would say this is the best Find X3 on the market right now. Now, don't get the Neo or the Lite unless you're on a budget, because those are basically, if I look from what I saw from them, they basically look like a rehashing of the Reno5. It looks like exact same design, but that's my opinion. All right, I'm your host, Ricky Knoles, and this was an episode of Knoles Cool Stuff. If you like this video, hit that like button, hit that bell for notification when new videos drop, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want to be part of Knoles Cool Stuff family. All right, so this was the quick look at the Oppo Find X3, which I believe is still the best Find X out there. It's the forgotten little brother of the other 3. All right, guys, until next time, as always, my followers, be cool.